everyone. Today I'll be talking about trade secrets. Trade secret per se is a trade secret which a company or an entity keeps it in the company itself so that it is not leaked in the near future. And how to go about protecting your trade secret. A very good example could be Coke's formula, which is a trade secret. And then we have the food recipes of different companies like KFC. That's again a trade secret. So, how to redraw the trade secret concept? This concept is very well taken by global countries, and one such example would be China. China is a powerful driver of globalization. We all know they have the concept of two patent applications, whereas one is the 20-year grant and the other is the patty patent grant, whereby the invention is granted for a period of 10 years. So, what it is inculcating is the way by which more innovators or more business professionals are filing patent application. And as you must have seen in my previous videos when I talked about intellectual property, personally I feel intellectual property can take the country to the next level. Having said that, how to grow? Now, growing is a word which needs to be understood in many terms. First is definitely a growth of a country is the wealth with which the GDP is calculated, and another is the influence. When we talk about the influence, what kind of influence one country is having on the other country in terms of bilateral agreements or some kind of free trade happening between two countries is the growth pattern of a country. And definitely a very good example when I talk about China is the mutual trust which they have with their vendors. Even if they have a trust, and if you don't break their trust, you can actually be a part of their business. So when you talk about the mutual trust thing in any kind of merger and acquisition, it is very, very important. In any merger and acquisition deal or in a funding deal, a trust is developed between the founders and the VCs or anybody. It's like when two companies are coming and working together with a synergistic goal to have a holistic view of increasing the business to the next level, that time the mutual trust is very, very important. And if we talk about the recent merger and acquisition whereby China's largest coal mining company and a major power generator company have come up with a merger where they are the world largest utility provider. And when we say world largest utility provider, impact it is going to have on the neighboring countries, especially the ASEAN region, whereby we talk about what is the focus of such kind of merger and acquisition. And very good example which I would like to focus on and I would like to talk about would be Malaysia. Malaysia has entered or will be entering the world's top 20 economies by 2050. There's a lot of natural resources, and when we talk about the kind of intellectual property, a lot of intellectual property is being generated by the universities, and even they have launched the world's first digital free trade zone outside of China. So you can understand when you as a country and you come up with free trade zones, so it is actually a way of employing more people also. So you need to see the synergistic effect, and yes, you need to apply some terms and condition how to fulfill the demands of both the countries. When we talk about any free trade agreement, it's a give and take relationship. It's a kind of contract whereby X company agrees to give Y and Z company agrees to give any kind of mutually agreeable terms is very, very important. So what is important in today's scenario is to understand there is a transformative emerging technologies, especially in the AI sector, that is artificial intelligence. Then we have internet of things. Internet is there for last few decades across the globe, and especially now in the Asian countries also, we are able to see 4G 5G penetrating in the market. So what is important is to open that free trade zone whereby obviously when you talk about internet everything is free, and anybody can learn coding. Coding is not difficult. So the business model should be such which is able to touch the heart of the people. So what you need to understand when you talk about trade secrets is the kind of contracts you have within the organization, what kind of code of conduct you have, and what kind of contracts your employees are signing, and even if they change their job, what kind of binding the contract has. So the contract should be very elaborative. Who is going to own the intellectual property rights when it is being developed in the in the company. In India, we don't have a concept whereby we give percentage of royalty to the uh, employees when intellectual property is created. However, such kind of incentives are given to innovators across the globe. So I personally feel companies who are the new age digital based companies, and especially in the internet sector, they should promote this idea of innovation. Like, it's like if you're innovating, you get a pie of whatever you have earned. It's like when you're actually solving a problem in a company, especially in an internet space, and that is a solution for which you can file a patent application. And as an innovator, if you are giving, or as a business owner, I would say, or as a business owner, if you're giving a piece of the pie of the royalty of whatever you're going to earn from that particular intellectual property, you're going to see a lot of patents being filed by the company. On an average, I personally feel if you're in the tech space, especially in the internet sector, when you talk about artificial intelligence or you talk about IoT, at least 8 to 11 patent applications should be filed on a yearly basis to start with. I'm talking about a very small company. However, 20% of the amount of whatever reserves you have should be invested in creating intellectual property. And how to create intellectual property is patents is definitely one of the aspects which can be looked into. Then second, we have industrial design, and industrial design is very fascinating in the terms of whereby you can actually use it for the merchandising. Any kind of product can be used for merchandising aspect, and then you actually start earning from those products. In the case of franchise, also the brand name per se, the person who actually own the brands keep the color combination different from the franchise, so that in 4C, if he sees 5 years down the lane, 6 years down the lane, if there's any kind of dispute between the two parties, at least the consumer will know, yes, this was the franchise and this is the main model. So it is very, very important to understand that IP per se is the sector. If you have any questions related to intellectual property rights or contracts, we would be happy to assist. If you have any questions, just write your question in the comment box, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm Priti Khastige from TCIS. I'm CEO founder of TechCorp International Strategies. Have a great day ahead. Thank you. Bye bye.